And the gift of this week's astrology is that you will have utter clarity around who in your life is amplifying your sunshine versus who is siphoning it from you. My name is Comet and welcome to Just Another Magic Monday, particularly your Magic Monday astrology forecast for the week of June 5th to June 11th, 2023, where we are covering, just as we do every single week here on this channel in this cosmic corner, is what is happening in the cosmos above us and how we will feel these themes and influences amongst us down here on planet Earth. And furthermore, what we strive to do with Magic Monday is truly take a co-creative approach to your weekly horoscope, really focusing on ways that you can synchronize with the celestial influences in order to live your most magical and your most aligned life. And I will tell you, the recipe to living your most magical and your most aligned life when it comes to navigating this week's astrology is being mindful and being protective of your life force energy, of your sunshine, of what lights you up, of what makes your heart happy. That is something that is so pure, and there's definitely parts of that this week, but there does feel to be an energy around getting excited about something and feeling that it is being taken away or dampened in some sort of way. So what I'm talking about is that Venus, the planet of love, of beauty, of money, enters the heart-centered, the passionate territory of the sky, Leo. And this is an essence in which we are wanting to be proud about what and who we love, right? Leo is an extra sign. They put their all into what it is that they do, right? They don't do halfway. They don't do lukewarm, because Leo governs the heart space. So it's like if they love you, they are pouring into you. They want to yell it from the rooftops, right? Leo's the lion. They want to roar it out. And when it comes to Venus entering this terrain, we can be kind of channeling our own inner lion, our own inner lioness. We can find that when it comes to our beauty, we're wanting to strut our stuff. We're wanting to be seen. We're wanting to lead with our most confident foot forward. When it comes to love, we're really just wanting to be proud of the person that we love. We're wanting to show them off. When it comes to our leisure activities, we're really wanting to pour into things that make us happy, things that our heart is in. However, it all sounds well and good, right? But right when Venus enters Leo, it is hit with an opposition to Pluto, which is sort of that energy around having that pure heart-centered expression around being so excited about this person or about your look that day or about your hobby or what have you, and feeling this essence around kind of like hater energy, sort of like siphoning it from you, saying like, oh, your outfit's not that great, or oh, that's such a waste of time to just be coloring in the park, like you should do something more productive. Like people who literally get threatened by you being happy, feeling confident, strutting your stuff. And the challenge this week is to just observe that, see it for what it is, and do not let it keep you from your playful lion expression. Just observe that, like, that's interesting. Must be them not feeling confident and feeling triggered by me being confident. I'm just gonna keep on coloring in the park or rocking my outfit or whatever it is that's making you happy this week. It's deeply important to protect your joy. Now, this week's astrology is fascinating because we have that at the beginning of the week, and then we kind of have a relatively quiet week of astrology, and then on 6/11, we have all the things. Pluto, the planet of power and transformation and rebirth, re-enters Capricorn, so it is retrograde. So essentially our foreshadow essence of Pluto in Aquarius is over. So we kind of got some hints and themes around what the work will be. And now with Pluto re-entering Capricorn, we're kind of like tying up with a little bow the themes that have been playing out within our journey since 2008 when Pluto initially entered Capricorn. So that happens on the 11th. Mercury, the planet of communication, enters Gemini. Before it does trine Pluto. We have a very bougie essence of Venus and Leo squaring off with Jupiter and Taurus, rounding off the week. We have Mercury sextile Neptune. There is a lot happening within this week's astrology, but it's going to be very important to protect your joy, to protect your play, to protect your life force energy, to protect your sunshine. So we'll be providing nuance in both a thematic as well as day-by-day analysis. But before we do, you guys know the drill. What are you drinking today? What What are you eating while watching? What are you doing while watching? What's your deal? How are you getting dialed into all of these cosmic influences? So I am drinking a cold brew. It's like cold brew concentrate with a little bit of toasted marshmallow, almond, coconut creamer, like the nut pod stuff. It's very delightful. I will say I'm feeling pretty risky that I'm wearing a white shirt with coffee. A fun thing about me is that I am physically incapable of not spilling on myself. Like, I spill on myself all of the time. I don't know if gravity just works extra on me. I don't know if I just don't know how to drink. I don't know what goes wrong, but something always goes wrong. So I'm like on the edge of my seat, trying to be careful about my coffee. And I don't know if you can tell, but let's just address the elephant in the room that my face and my body are two different colors. Okay, it has not been sunny in San Diego for so long. And my SoCal loves, I know you guys are in this with us, like, where is the sunshine? I just am so sad. I miss it. I want it so bad. I'm hoping Venus and Leo will be the cosmic boost we need to get some freaking sunshine. I think it's been like 142 days of fog or something. I don't know. I'll fact check here. But yeah, there's not been any sun and I want a spray tan. So I was thinking, okay, I'll go get a spray tan and that'll like trick my brain into feeling like it's sunny and that summer is just around the corner, because it is. But yeah, no, now I'm just tan. Now I'm just tan in the fog. So everybody doubly knows that it's fake because the sunshine has not been out for literal weeks. And I just don't have face makeup that matches this color. So we're just gonna continue on pretending like that's not a thing. Hopefully it's not distracting you too much. And so without further ado, let's go ahead and paint a picture over this week's astrology with our segment Vibe Check of the Week. So if you are new here, hello, welcome to Magic Monday. I swear typically I am not two different colors, so thank you for being here and muscling through the video regardless. But essentially Vibe Check of the Week is a segment that we do on Magic Monday where we liken all of those themes that I was just telling you about. So Mercury trine Pluto, Sun sextile Chiron, Venus ingressing into Leo, Pluto re-entering Capricorn. If those terms, you kind of understand some of them, but you're not totally sure what that means for you, we essentially compare all of that energy to a real life scenario. So that even if you forget the intricacies of what it means that Mercury sextiles Neptune, that Venus opposes Pluto, you can tune into a real life scenario, which will kind of bring to the surface certain emotions, certain visions that help you paint the picture around what this week's astrology means for you and for your world. So this week's vibe check feels like the following scenario. This week feels like when something good has just happened in your life, and you can fill in the nuances around what would your good news be? Would it be getting a grant? Would it be getting into grad school? Would it be starting that podcast? What have you? I want you to think of something that you would be genuinely stoked about. For the purpose of the vibe check, we'll say that one of your paintings just got accepted into this cool showing at a local gallery that's featuring young artists, and you are just over the moon. You feel like this is the start of something great. Your art is going to be seen, and you go to your friend nearly like exploding with joy. You're like, you'll never believe it. Guess what? The gallery, they're gonna have one of my pictures. I'm featured in this exhibit of young artists in the city. And your friend is just like not matching your energy. In fact, they're kind of like dimming your vibe. They're kind of dampening the vibe. They're like, oh, that's a really small gallery. Or like, oh, are you sure your art's ready for that? Or like, oh, isn't that gonna make you uncomfortable that so many people are gonna be critiquing it? And you just feel your heart sinking. Like you went into this conversation just so excited and you just wanted someone to meet you at that vibe. And then as the conversation continues, your heart just falls more and more and more. And then you start to kind of second guess yourself. You're like, is it a big deal? I guess it is a small gallery. Is my art ready? I mean, I don't really have a website up. Like, will people talk badly about it? Like, you're trying to be excited about it, but you can't stop thinking about that person's energy in regards to it and their comments in regards to it. And you thought this person was your friend, so you're getting in your own head around it and you're trying to like kind of downplay it. So you don't tell your other friends. You're like, are they gonna think the same thing? They're gonna think I'm making this a big deal, that I want attention, what have you. But then you go to another one of your friends and you just mention like, oh, hey, I got into this cool thing. Like not the same vibe at first, right? You just kind of like offhand mention like, hey, I got into this gallery. It's really cool. And they're like, what? Are you kidding? And they're so stoked, and they just go above and beyond. Like, they just go so extra. They throw you a party. They take you out on the town. They're like, we need to get you a new outfit for your gallery showing. They're like, you deserve this. I am so proud of you. I am so proud of you. And slowly that enthusiasm, that joy begins to come back to the surface, and you remember to congratulate and celebrate yourself. Like, wow, this is so exciting. So the challenge this week is to really just be able to navigate energy vampires, okay? Because not everybody does this maliciously, right? Like, maybe your friend was just genuinely having such a bad day and just feeling so bitter because they're feeling so exhausted with working that they don't have time to work on their art. So it's like your good news sort of triggered them. Maybe they just like weren't in the mood. Maybe they were jealous. Again, it's not always necessarily sinister. What I will say about energy vampires, if you have ever encountered one, is that sometimes it can be quite sinister. Sometimes people do not want to see you happy, and in fact they can feed on your more negative emotions. And that's why it's so important to just stay mindful with your energy. Like, who, when you're hanging out, you leave that interaction just feeling more lit up, feeling more playful, feeling more inspired, versus who, when you leave the encounter, you're just feeling a little bit more drained, you're feeling a little bit more exhausted. Things that you're really excited about feel silly and stupid and inconsequential. I want you to observe who, when you bring them good news, who automatically starts honing in on all the problems versus who meets you at the energy being like, oh my gosh, that's so exciting. Because again, sometimes friends do need to highlight things. Like, let's say, you know, one of the gallery owners, like a friend could come to you and be like, hey, like, I'm so excited for you. That is so cool. Your art's going to be in there. You're so deserving of this. But I just want to let you know, I did hear something kind of weird about the gallery owner that you should know. Like, again, sometimes we do need to, you know, ask questions or bring up certain concerns. You know, if a friend comes to you and is like, I have met the love of my life on this cruise and we are going to elope. Like, you could be excited, but also be like, girly girl, how well do you know this person? What's going on? Like, again, being discerning around who genuinely makes the effort to be like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. And then if there are any comments, not saying there need to be, then kind of pepper them in a heart-centered, loving way, versus who immediately sees your sunshine and just sends you a gray cloud, okay? And the challenge is being able to keep your vibration and not sinking down to their level, because that's what energy vampires kind of do, is that they want you to their level. And it's very weird. If you've ever been hanging out with somebody and you're like happy about something and they just kind of want to drag you down, but you're just staying in this vibration, it's like an energetic misalignment. And sometimes it can kind of tell you when you're just not on the same level of resonance. And again, like I said, it's not making people wrong. Sometimes we're moving through things and that success can be triggering or it can make us bitter. But again, you as a soul, you deserve to be around people who celebrate you. You deserve to be around people who love to see you win, who make a big deal about your wins, who make little things a big deal. That's what I love about my Leo friends, is they're like, something happens to you, let's throw a party. Like, one of my dearest clients, Jessie, she's a Leo, and she and I mean, we celebrate our quarter birthdays, we celebrate our half birthdays. Like, her motto on life is basically like, how can we make little things a big deal? Because life is a celebration, right? And it's important to have people in your life who take those successes and those wins and those celebrations and make an excuse to make it a big deal, right? To amplify it, to exaggerate it. That's such a different energetic than people who try to diminish your wins, diminish your happiness. Again, we can have empathy for what it is that someone's moving through that's making them want to take away our happiness or making them want to make us bitter, but we also don't need to be around those people. Or maybe they just aren't our good news friends. Like, it's so important to have good news friends, like people that you can hit up and be like, oh my gosh, this thing happened. And they'll just like be so excited. Like, my mentor is that for me. Like, we connect every other week, so like once every 2 weeks, and we always start every call with successes. And we just get to like gloat and boast about like business successes or all of these things that we don't necessarily feel outside of those calls would necessarily be appropriate. Like, sometimes people don't want to hear you, you know, celebrating certain milestones that you've reached in your business. Like, again, it's important to have those people that you could just celebrate and amplify and uplift, because this world is heavy enough. We need to take those small slivers of sunshine and make them a big deal. So this week it's going to be very important to be conscious of that, okay? Who loves to see you happy versus who's just raining on your parade a little bit. And this is because obviously with Venus in Leo, we are feeling more heart-centered, we're feeling more expressive, we're feeling more creative, we're wanting to celebrate all the little things, whether it's a quarter birthday, a half birthday, whether it's a slight win, whether it's a milestone. This is an energy where you need to celebrate the little things. You need to celebrate the little things. It is an accomplishment. Don't allow people to diminish it. And again, maybe this is an external milestone. You got your art into a gallery. Maybe it's like you stopped vaping. That is a celebration. Maybe it's you held a boundary. That is a celebration. Find little excuses to make things a big deal and to celebrate and to amplify your joy, because this world needs it and you need it. But like I said, with Venus opposite Pluto, this is the energy where people could try to siphon our joy or heart-centered play or our passion from us in an essence to kind of like get us to their level in a sense. And as the week continues, it sort of has this interesting arc. Because like I said, a lot of the week's astrology is like kind of bucketed towards the beginning of the week and then the end of the week. So we have like Sun sextile Chiron, which is kind of the moment around, oh, it's safe for me to express my joy and to express my celebration and to be happy about this. That's a healing flow of energy. It's like that awareness around, oh, it's not that this isn't a big deal. It's just that that person didn't want to hear it or didn't want to celebrate my win or what have you. There's like this essence around, no, this actually is a good big deal. And I am very proud of myself. And just with the energy of Mercury trining Pluto, it's like regaining your confidence mentally. With Venus and Leo squaring Jupiter, this is the essence around throwing a party, buying new clothes, like being a little extra and over the top, because this life requires being extra and over the top sometimes, okay? It requires making little things a big deal. Is this an overdoing essence? Absolutely. We'll talk about the significations of it, but sometimes you need to be extra. You need to be over the top. You need to make little things, little wins a big deal, and you need to protect your excitement, your joy, your life force energy, and be around people who amplify it, who love to see you happy, who love to see you win. So we will be talking more about this as we could take it into our day-by-day astrology. I want to let you know every time I utter a time, I am located on the West Coast of the United States in California, to be specific, although it has not felt like California since literally February or whenever this fog rolled in, but that is technically where I'm located. So essentially all of that to say, my time zone is PDT, so make sure to adjust to your time zone. Also, all timestamps are available below, so if you want to jump to a particular day, jump back to a particular day, that is a resource for you. You can also play with the playback speed if you find that I talk too fast, if you find that I talk too slow or too much. Mercury's entering Gemini, so we're all going to be talking quite a bit more, but you can adjust the playback speed to suit your liking. And without further ado, let's go ahead and take it into our astrology for Monday, June 5th. And sorry if this coffee is scaring you. It kind of like does a separating thing. So good morning. Welcome to your astrology forecast for Monday, June 5th. So I want to let you know that over the weekend we had a Sagittarius full moon. You can check out the all signs forecast here. And I want to let you know that even though it exacted Saturday night, we're still in the full moon hangover recovery period. So do be gentle with yourself if you're noticing you're extra emotional, if you're super drained or super restless, if you've been sleeping a lot, can't stop sleeping, or been having a hard time falling asleep. I just want to let you know we're still kind of processing that full moon. So being patient with yourself wherever it is that you fall in that spectrum. I also want to highlight Sunday night we had the Sagittarius moon squaring Neptune, which sometimes can just make a more kind of dreamy, out of it sort of start to our day. So I just want to let you know that, especially since with the moon entering Capricorn, this is essentially the terrain around arising to our ambitions, ascending to the peak of our ability. And this is a bit of a mismatch with the energy of moon, which is around nurturing and self-soothing. So again, we're finding our worth and our emotional tethering via our outer accomplishments, via our successes. So if you are feeling more drained or more sleepy or kind of having a slower start to the week, you can be taking it harder on yourself. Like, come on, why are you not doing the things? We're not going to get to the top if we are staying in bed in the morning. Like, again, just being patient with where it is that you are. And there is a desire to want to nurture yourself via your accomplishments, which again, isn't always a bad thing, right? It feels good when you get your art accepted into the gallery. It feels good when you reach a business milestone, right? There's no denying that. I think the tricky territory with Capricorn moon is where it is that we feel that these accomplishments make us someone who is worthy of nurturing, when in fact, we're always worthy of nurturing. In fact, we're so worthy, that's why we owe it to ourselves to live out our dreams. It's not that we have to live out our dreams in order to be worthy. It's like, I love myself and I'm so worthy that I deserve to have everything that I desire. I deserve to know that I spent my time on this planet doing the best I could with this vessel, with this chart, with this talent. Like, that's the essence of Capricorn, is really wanting to ascend to the peak of our own ability, not beating ourselves up on the ascent to the top of our own ability, being like, until you get to the top, you are a piece of crap. No, it's understanding I am so worthy that I deserve to flesh out every ounce of my ability, every ounce of my talent. It's such a powerful reframe and just something I want you to keep in mind. And it could feel really good to get things done on Monday. Again, if you're not full moon recovering, you can totally be there if you want. But I will say, it could feel really good to just handle your stuff, to be working on your craft, to be working on your goals. The Capricorn moon trines Jupiter in Taurus and sextiles its ruler, which is Saturn in Pisces. So there is this essence around, I see the vision, I caught a glimpse, and I'm going after it. There is an energy around attuning to the vision and allowing our efforts in the here and now to guide us closer to that point. It feels good to be in the process of becoming. It feels good to be in the process of excavating your own highest ability, whatever that looks like to you. Maybe that's showing up as the highest ability in your relationships, in your art, in your work, in your career, in your passion project, whatever. There is just a desire around, how can I live out the highest caliber of this chart? Because I've talked about this before. Your chart is your chart. Okay, it definitely tells a lot about you, but it's so fascinating because there's a certain promise of the natal chart that will always be fulfilled. There's strengths, there's challenges, there's obstacles, there's themes that you are here to master, but it's up to you as the chart holder to live out the highest caliber, the highest potential of your birth chart. I don't know where exactly I read this or heard this, but it's haunted me ever since it came into my awareness, is what a nightmare it would be to, at the end of your life, sit down with the version of you who lived out the highest potentiality of what you could have accomplished during your time. And to like sit down with that person and be like, I could have done all of that had I conquered these bad habits, had I believed in myself, had I worked on my craft. This is what my life could be. I want to be able to be at the end of my life, and if I get to meet that person who's like the highest caliber of what it is that I could have been, it haunts me to the day. So again, I don't want it to be a haunting necessarily, but I do want you to strive to be the best that you can be. And again, we all have different talents, we all have different strengths, we all have different desires, we all have different struggles, right, that we are moving through. We all have varying levels of privilege that we even start on the journey of excavating our dreams. But I think the ask here is really around, how can I do the best with all it is that I have, with all it is that I'm capable of all it is that I am moving through? How can I anchor in the highest caliber of what it is that I am capable of? So we have that energy on Monday. That's actually not the headline news of Monday. The headline news is that the planet of love, beauty, and money enters Leo. So again, this is a shift, because with Venus in Cancer, we were really craving love that felt like home and a human being. We wanted to, cuddle up. We wanted to beautify our home environment. We really wanted to nurture our connections. It's very private. Whereas Venus in Leo, it's like, it's going from like Netflix and chill with Venus in Cancer to like, let's go out on the town. Let's go clubbing. Let's go bottle service. I want everybody to see you in your cute outfit. I want everyone to see us on the town. It's very much like a flaunting energy, like wanting to flaunt who it is that we love, as well as being bold and confident about, love and connection and things of that nature, as well as just kind of being like flirty and playful within our connections. Like the energy of Leo, it's lighthearted, it's playful, it's proud, it's flirty. It's not being shy about flirting with your partner in public or doing things that, tell people when you're out and about that they're yours, like holding their hand and stuff like that. Like it just kind of makes things a bigger deal. It's a little bit more flashy. And speaking of flashy, we could definitely feel this come through with our beauty, with like how it is that we dress and do makeup. We could really be in the mood to be seen and really be in the mood to be confident. And I want this to be a quick PSA. Okay, I want this to be a quick PSA. Venus, Mars, and Lilith are all in Leo at this moment. Okay, I want you to strut your stuff. I don't care who is triggered by your confidence. I want you to be confident anyway. I want you to make little things a big deal. I want you to take selfies. I want you to make TikToks. I want you to make art. Even if you're just going to the grocery store, find an excuse to make it a big deal, to be extra, to wear a boa. Okay, I don't know if you should wear a boa to the grocery store, unless you're feeling it. All I'm saying is life is too short to not flaunt a little bit, to not be a little extra, to not be a little dramatic. And with Venus and Leo, we could definitely feel more creative. We could feel more bold. When it comes to money, we could want to be a little bit more extravagant. Definitely something to be mindful of as it's building to square Jupiter and Taurus. We're really tuning to life is to be enjoyed, and we're kind of taking this more playful expression to life, into our own expression, into our finances, and things of that nature. After Venus enters Leo, it will then oppose Pluto. So, like I said in the vibe check, this can potentially be the energy of somebody who wants to kind of rain on your parade, or somebody who doesn't necessarily love to see you confident. Because I will tell you, there are a lot of people, unfortunately, in this world who do not want to see you confident. Corporations, for one, in that people who are insecure, you spend more money on beauty products and the diet industry and all of these things, looking for this fix of how you think it's going to make you feel. When you're confident, it's harder to sell to you, right? Because you feel good about who it is that you are. So not only are there a vested interest in businesses who want you to be not confident, but also when it comes to interpersonal connections, when it comes to relationships, when it comes to partnerships. I wish it wasn't the case. Like, again, your people will love to see you confident. They will love to see you happy. Like, people who are meant to be in your orbit will want you to be the best version of you. But when somebody is not healed, they can see your confidence, and they can see your joy, they can see your happiness, and it can be very triggering. Because of their personal stories. And again, we can have empathy for that without needing ourselves to stay tethered to somebody who's like draining our sunshine. Because when you aren't confident, you will stay in situations longer. They can control you a little bit easier. Some people even get like a weird twisted pleasure around kind of bringing you down. And it's just important to be mindful of those sort of dynamics as you navigate this world. Because again, in the vibe check, it became this energy around, oh, I must be wrong. Oh, this must be silly. Like, it's really not a big deal. Like, I was dumb for being excited, right? Like, you can take it in on yourself and be like, I must be the problem. When in essence, this is somebody who doesn't want you to be happy. And you need to realize, I hate to be jaded on this, but it's just the truth. You need to realize not everybody wants you to be happy. And it's so important to keep people in your circle who genuinely want to see you win, who genuinely want to see you rise to the peak of your ability. Because I'm sure a lot of you have been in a relationship where it's like every time you have a career success or like something happens, they automatically are like, oh, well, you're going to have less time for me. They feel very threatened by it because they're perceiving you ascending to the peak of your own ability as essentially you moving away from them. Versus a true partnership is somebody who's like, I love to see you win. You love to see me win. It's a symbiosis. It's only when you feel insecure in the connection that you want to diminish somebody to keep them to your level. You perceive them ascending or succeeding as a threat, right? So you're like, let me bring you down to my level. And if you aren't aware of that, you can be like, well, they're right. Like, it is a silly idea to have a podcast, or like, they're right. It isn't a big deal that my artwork is in the gallery. Like, oh, they're right. That is kind of a big dream. Not being aware of these dynamics. And again, it can show up within friends. It can show up within relationships. And it's just something so important to be mindful of, because Pluto can be this almost like succubus energy. And with Venus and Leo, kind of like wanting to drain what it is that's like lighting up our heart, drain our passion, drain our confidence. Like that essence when you get all dressed up and somebody's like, you look freaking ridiculous. Why are you wearing a boa to the grocery store? Granted, maybe you didn't need to wear a boa to the grocery store, but essentially something that you feel good about, and then somebody's just wanting to drain that energy from you and gets like a slight weird win when they successfully get you to feel more crestfallen. It's a weird dynamic when you navigate the world thinking that everybody has a heart like yours and a spirit like yours with pure intentions like yours. You aren't aware that there's some snakes you know, in the grass. There's some dynamics that you do not want to merge energy with or like share energy with, right? And it's super important to be cognizant of that and to just be aware of that, of the subtle ways that people are trying to bring you down or diminish your confidence. If people are threatened by it, if they feel insecure, if they're trying to pull you down, that is a them problem. And just be discerning and not allow it to get in your head around, oh, I shouldn't wear a bow at a grocery store. Oh, it's actually not that big a deal that my artwork is in the gallery or what have you. Because when you navigate this world thinking everyone has a heart like mine, so when you tell your friend this news about the gallery and they're like, well, A, B, C, and they're kind of like bringing you down, if you think that this person has a heart like yours, you'll be like, oh wow, they're really looking out for me. I guess it isn't a big deal. Like you will take their truth on as your own. But not everybody's like you. Some people want to feed off your happiness. Some people want to feed off your passion, feed off your confidence, or bring you down because they get a sick pleasure out of it. So it's just important to be discerning, okay? Like we were talking about last week, not everybody deserves your sunshine when you're excited about something. Maybe you just know that that friend is not your good news friend. Not internalizing it, not taking it personally. Other manifestations of this, I also want you to be mindful of jealousy and competition overall. Like with Venus opposite Pluto, being conscious of where it is that you're trying to like splurge to project a certain lifestyle or project a certain confidence. Okay, that's something to be mindful of. With Venus opposite Pluto, there's just this essence around the purchases will never feel enough. That temporary happiness when you swipe your credit card will fleet and then you'll crave another hit and another hit. Speaking of another hit, you could definitely have this obsessive quality as it relates to your love relationships. Like with Venus and Leo, it's very heart-centered, it's very romantic, it's very passionate. And with the opposition to Pluto, we just want to like live inside of our lover's skin. We're like, should we elope? Should we elope? Should we run away together? Like Venus and Leo is very, very heart-centered. When they love fully. With the opposition to Pluto, we are ready to just get lost into this connection. And also just being mindful of comparison, okay? With Venus and Leo, focus on what brings you sunshine. Be discerning around who wants to send a gray cloud over your sunshine and don't allow it to keep you from shining out your light. I'm gonna take this as a moment for a personal PSA, so feel free to jump to the next timestamp if you'd like. But I just wanna say, Venus, Mars, and Lilith are all in Leo. This is the last summer of my 20s. I'm going to be spending a lot of it in New York City. Like I'm going to be living. I'm going to be taking selfies, making TikToks, partying, having fun. I'm going to be living my life, grieving my, youth, Saturn return sort of energy. I'm going to maximize this time. And sometimes that can like threaten people. Like, I don't know, sometimes I get DMs of people being like, how can you say that you're spiritual if you're, going out or whatever? And it's like, firstly, we're multifaceted. I came here to be a human being. I'm going to have fun and I'm going to express myself and I'm going to be confident and wear whatever I want and take photos of whatever I want, okay? So I'm just making a PSA. If that is triggering to anybody, feel free to unsubscribe. Feel free to unfollow. That's what I'll be up to this summer. And I really feel like I owe it to myself to be up to that this summer, because when I think of this sort of energy, I just think of my early 20s and how much I lost that time being so insecure and allowing other people to tell me what I was and who I was and diminish what it was that made me happy. I just think of all of the toxic dynamics that I was involved in, where I allowed people to siphon my sunshine and to siphon my confidence and left me like this shell of a human, really insecure. I lost a lot of my early 20s like that. Like I look at certain photos and I can just feel how insecure and just how miserable I was. And one of these situations that really messed with my confidence so much was when I was dating this guy who, looking back, he freaking hated me. He freaking hated me. I didn't see that at the time. I always thought it was something that I did. Like he just had a lot of opinions on what I should be wearing, what I should be eating, what I should be doing, what I should not be doing. And I basically just built my life trying to be the perfect thing for him. And it's so funny that I'm sitting here with a spray tan because he hated when I was tan. Like even if I would walk around a little bit and just get a little color in my skin, it would just make him really, really angry. So I felt like I always needed to be indoors. He wanted me super pale. He wanted me super skinny. He wanted me super miserable. He like low-key hated when I was happy. And I look back on it, I'm like, oh my gosh, he just wanted this like lifeless, pale, gaunt creature. Like he wanted a corpse. He wanted me dead. He hated me. He hated me. But I did not see that at the time. I was like, oh, I'm wrong. Like this is the ideal person. So I need to like craft and be what this person wants me to be. And it was so strange because when I look at photos of that time, I just see myself wasting away. Like I could always look at photos and I know whether or not I was involved with him because I just looked so different. Like literally I feel like my beauty, even just like my vitality was just sucked out of my body. Like quite literally, I look at photos and I do not recognize that person. I look dead behind the eyes because part of me had died during that time. And he had never looked better. Like he was glowing. His career was going great. It was almost like my life was being siphoned away. Like all of this crazy stuff happened to me while I was dating him, and just everything was going bad. Business was going bad. Health was going bad. Beauty was going bad versus he was like glowing. Like I'm telling you, energetic cords are real. Like sometimes people do feed off of your energy, seriously. And I didn't notice it until I noticed like we were never on the same level. Like if I was miserable, he was super happy. He loved when I was just miserable and just not doing anything, just like a lifeless creature. I'm telling you, he wanted a freaking corpse, and I like kind of was a corpse when I was dating him, unfortunately. But anyways, he loved that. He loved that. And I just think of that girl and it makes me so sad for her. And so now coming to a place where I am confident and I know who I am, and I will never allow somebody like that into my experience again, into my head. I feel like I owe it to that version to be as confident as I want and to wear whatever the heck I want and to do whatever the heck I want. Like I think about that experience and I'm like, okay, he kind of ruined my life, but he also saved my life. Seriously, because prior to that relationship, I didn't know people were like that. I did not know people could feed off of your misery or want you to be sad or want you to be miserable. So that was such an important lesson for me. And I'm actually so grateful for him. I'm so grateful for the entire experience because it's made me a lot more protective of my energy and a lot more just aware of dynamics and energetics. Because like I said, not everybody has a heart like yours. Not everybody has intentions like yours. So you just need to allow people to earn access to you, earn access to your heart with this Venus energy, as well as really being mindful of who gets threatened by your confidence or who wants you to be insecure. I hate to be jaded, but I'm telling you, there are people out there who are like that. I hope you don't have to learn in the way that I did. I feel so grateful that I was able to get out of that scenario. I know a lot of people have a much harder time leaving, and I'm so sorry if you can relate in any way. And I just want to say, with this Leo energy, just being super cognizant of who celebrates your joy versus who wants to steal it from you. So on Tuesday, the 6th, the moon will be in Capricorn all day. It will square off with Chiron in Aries, which again is just a reminder to be conscious of the self-talk on your ascent up the mountain. Like we were talking about on Monday, you owe it to yourself to flesh out the highest potentiality of your strengths and your attributes and your passions, right? But with the square to Chiron, there's sort of a little bit of triggering. Maybe you got some bad feedback from somebody at work. Maybe you applied for something and it didn't work out. Maybe your artwork is in the gallery and somebody says something about it and it just makes your heart sink, right? Like obviously we're human. We're going to be impacted from little bits of bad news or just little bits that kind of trigger a raw part of us. But I just want to say that obviously you're human. It's going to hurt a little bit. It's going to sting a little bit when you get criticism, when somebody doesn't like your artwork, when you get a mean comment on your podcast or what have you. It's going to sting a little bit. You're human. Allow that. But also don't allow it to take your sunshine away. Again, this is a really important week to protect your sunshine. What I mean by sunshine here, because it's the Capricorn moon, it's not the Venus in Leo, it's more so around the sunshine, around that you did the best that you could possibly do, and that's that. You fulfilled the vision based on what it is that you wanted it to be. You put your heart and soul into it, and no one can take that from you. Even if people don't understand the artwork, even if people don't like the podcast, if you can feel good about it, if you can feel proud of yourself, that is what matters, right? If you can feel like I fulfilled my vision in the way that I wanted it to be seen, that is what matters. There is an intrinsic reward around creating things and building things that mean something to us personally, even if other people do misunderstand it. I recently saw the movie Beau's Afraid. It's Ari Aster, who's a director that I love. It's 3 hours. I don't know if I recommend it. I mean, it was a wild experience. I personally loved it, but I love weird movies. I love weird movies, but you know, when I think of that movie and I think about the interviews, like it's very divisive. Like people either love it or hate it. And I really respect that he made that movie, because his first two, Hereditary and Midsommar, it was like box office success, so successful. And sometimes you feel this pressure around cranking out success after success, which can get to you as an artist, as a creator, as a content creator, whatever it is that you are building within your world. That can get to you, this pressure around wanting to continually put out things that the public likes and resonates, and like beating yourself one after the other. But what's more important is that you're having integrity around making what it is that you want to make. So again, Beau is Afraid got a lot of, honestly, bad feedback. I personally liked it, but it got a lot of bad feedback. But it was like a project that he really had a personal interest in. He had the script for a while. It was a personal passion project to him, and he really just needed to see it fulfilled. Even if people didn't understand it, even if it wasn't the smash, box office success that his first two films were, there is a certain sort of pride around creating something and building something that is important to you personally. And yes, sometimes with the square to Chiron, it can hurt when you put all this energy into something and people don't understand it or they don't see the vision. But again, if you can feel good with what it is that you are creating, what it is that you are working on at work, what it is that you talked about within the podcast episode, that is what matters. And it's just so important that you're not letting the feedback from others kind of impact what it is that you are creating and the intrinsic joy that you get just from the sake of creating. Like, I will just say, gosh, I'm so chatty today, and Mercury hasn't even entered Gemini, but it is Gemini season, so makes sense. But I just want to say, like, I definitely can relate to this. Just as a content creator, there's like a lot of pressure. Like, YouTube ranks all your videos and gives you like all these downward arrows if like your video this week isn't doing as well as like your prior 10 videos, and it makes you get trapped in this loop around gotta get the best and follow the algorithm and do what all the trends are doing. And I just had this moment recently where I was just like, I just want to make the videos that I want to make. Like, I don't care if they don't do the best view-wise. I don't know if it's my Aquarius placements that I just need to be able to do my own thing, but I was feeling a little burnt out from like making videos. I think just because I was like in this space where I just felt like I had to crank out videos that would do well in the algorithm and continuous growth. And I was like losing that initial passion, that initial spark. But what I'm really proud of this year is that I've made some videos that I feel really good about. Like, I just feel good about them. Like, they haven't necessarily done the best. And YouTube lets me know that with like downward arrows, like, you failure. But I don't care, because it felt good to create. I'm talking about topics that I'm passionate about, and it allows me to protect that sacred flame of why it is that I do what it is that I do. And even on Magic Monday, like, I know it would probably do better if I was just sitting here and just rattling off all of the astrology. And I do that. Like, I let you know all of the astrology aspects. But for me, what makes it worth doing is when I'm able to have a dialogue, when I'm able to have a conversation, when I'm able to talk about life and life experiences. And I feel so grateful that I have an audience and a community that like allows me to be my own self and my own weird self. Like, again, I know it would probably go better for me, or people would get less annoyed if I stuck to the astrology, but like, for me, it's fun. Like, I sit here and I feel like I have a conversation with you guys, and I'm proud of what it is that we create here on Magic Monday, and that's valuable within itself. Even if there's some downward arrows, even if Ari Aster's film was panned, even if you got some bad feedback on a project that you were super happy about, don't allow other people's opinions, downward arrows in YouTube or what have you, take away that sacred flame, that passion of building something of value and building something that you are proud of. So also on Tuesday, it's honestly a very hardworking day. So again, attuning to what am I committed to? What do I want to build? The trine to Mercury and the trine to Uranus, we're seeing things differently. We're in the mood for novelty. We're in the mood for originality. Maybe we're feeling stifled creatively and we're wanting to break out of the mold. We're wanting to do things differently. We're wanting to make a 3-hour movie about psychoanalyzing Beau is Afraid. Again, this is not a recommendation unless you like weird movies. If you like weird movies, go see it. Go see it. And then the Capricorn moon does sextile. Oh my God. I just put the coffee on the edge of the coaster. This is why I always spill it myself. And then that evening, the Capricorn moon will sextile Neptune, which is a very dreamy energy. Again, we're dreaming it and wanting to make it happen. So again, I caught a glimpse and I'm going after it. And we tend to think I'll be happy as soon as I get it, but the process of becoming is where the joy is. The process of becoming is where the joy is. The process of reaching for a heart-centered goal that we have set out for ourselves, that is where we are the most alive. That is where we are the most inspired. When we are not reaching and ascending and up-leveling our life, like we tend to think, We would be totally happy if we could just chill all day. We are the most actualized as humans when we are working on something that we value, something that we want to create, something that we want to put out there. And again, it's in that process of building. That joy that you're looking for isn't necessarily awaiting you at the top. But outside of that, with the Capricorn moon sextiling Neptune, interesting dreams. You could want to ground down into your physical experience with lovely sensual pleasures, things of the nature. Listen to some music, okay? Watch a movie. Beau's afraid, but I'm warning you now, okay? It's a little weird. So on Wednesday the 7th, the moon enters the free-spirited humanitarian sign of Aquarius at 1:42 a.m. and then it promptly conjoins Pluto. So this could charge our emotions with a little bit of intensity, okay? And when the moon enters Aquarius, it does kind of like kick off some tension in the cosmos with all of the fixed signs because the Aquarius moon conjoins Pluto. So again, feeling things intensely. It then opposes Venus, so wanting to kind of avoid the intensity. And then it squares Jupiter, so we're really wanting to avoid the intensity. It's giving procrastination. It's giving wanting to avoid our emotions or avoid what's coming up, just wanting to bury it in something else, which again, isn't always a bad thing. I would just say being mindful around procrastination, or again, it just feels like an energy where you could just be looking for something that will make you feel better. It feels a little avoidant, like it feels a bit avoidant, like there's certain things that are coming to the surface, right? Maybe you're still processing some stuff from the Sagittarius full moon, and rather than like processing with it, you're like outsourcing it, or you're rather avoiding it. You're wanting to swipe your credit card instead. You're wanting to go on a date instead, swipe on dating apps instead. You're looking for almost like a quick fix is the vibe. With the Aquarius moon opposite Venus, we're looking for something pleasurable and enjoyable that'll take us away from the heaviness that's kind of coming up. And with the square to Jupiter, we're procrastinating. Again, we could feel this as kind of a joy state. Like it's giving very much playing hooky energy. I'm not saying you should play hooky, but it's giving that. It's like there's some heaviness and it's like, I don't want to deal with work. I don't want to deal with these issues. So I'm just going to go to the beach and play instead and just act like my problems don't exist, right? Aquarius is an air sign. It's above the situation. So we could almost just feel this need to like detach, just be like, I just can't right now. I just need to play and remind myself that I'm a human. And again, you could be feeling this rebellious energy at work around someone telling you what to do. And you're just like, F it, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to do my own thing, or I'm just going to go to lunch with these people. Like there's just this energy where we're just wanting to avoid it. We're wanting to procrastinate. Emotionally, you could be feeling good. I mean, the moon does meet up with both of the benefic. So there is a desire for pleasure and enjoyment and beauty. But I would just take a moment to ask, am I trying to detach from something? Am I trying to run away from something? Maybe some uncomfy emotions came up that I'm trying to not necessarily face. So I'm hiding within this luxurious lunch. I'm hiding within this shopping spree. I'm hiding within this date with somebody that I don't know and don't really want to get to know. Like again, just being mindful where we're using pleasure as like a band-aid for the uncomfy feelings that might be kind of like simmering under the surface. And then that evening, there's kind of like a mad vibe, okay? The Aquarius moon opposes Mars and Leo. I would definitely say work out, move some physical energy, okay? This feels very stubborn, like you can have certain power struggles at work. No one's hearing one another. No one's seeing one another's perspectives. There's a stubbornness here. And it feels like the vibe check in that, you know, when you're here, you're feeling so happy and somebody else is feeling kind of like down. And again, this isn't me saying we shouldn't hang out with people who are down or going through it. Obviously, we're all moving towards different things. But sometimes people really prefer being in that space. And it's very hard to like meet up energetically. You're like, okay, all you can talk about is how everything is bad. All I can talk about is how happy I am. Like, what do we talk about? What do we talk about? What do we talk about? It's hard to meet in the middle. And here it just feels like we're not having an easy time meeting in the middle in regards to, okay, this is what you think, this is what I think. And honestly, with the opposition of Mars, we could just be a little angry. We could be impulsive, definitely impulsive in regards to our pleasure on Wednesday, or just a little angry or knee-jerk or frustrated with the mundanes and just with the situation. So we could be taking it out on people, or just feeling stubborn. Like your partner thinks that you need to close the cabinets all of the time. And you think your partner just needs to learn to duck so they don't hit the cabinets. Again, you're not seeing eye to eye. This is not an energy where you're able to compromise and be like, I really should close the cabinets, shouldn't I? Like they do bonk their head all the time. You're just like, well, that's a you problem. You keep hitting your head. get a smaller head then. On Thursday, the 8th, the Aquarius moon trines Gemini sun. So again, feeling anchored by connection, by curiosity, by collaboration. I've been doing a little Gemini season challenge. I'm gonna put it out to you guys as well. But my Gemini season challenge is that I've been trying to say yes to every single social outing and every single networking event. And I have had so much fun. I have had so much fun ever since I've employed this. Like, I have a hard time just going out into the world. I like to when I'm there. I like to, but it's very hard for me to like just do it, right? I just made a promise to myself this Gemini season. I was like, there are so many cool people, there are so many cool clients, there's so much cool events, there's so much happening in this world. I need to like get out of my bubble and like say yes. And I've had the coolest experiences. I've met the most amazing people since I've been saying yes, because it's been all these things where it's like, I don't really know anybody, but it's whenever I get there, it's like people very much on the same wavelength. There's a lot of resonance. Like, I'm very happy when I'm there. So all I'm saying is this Gemini season, if someone asks you to hang out, if someone asks you to go somewhere, even if it's sort of random, even if you don't know the people, think of it as a Gemini season opportunity to learn, right? And with the Aquarius moon, focusing upon the elements that you can connect to within these individuals, that resonance that you feel. That happens in the morning time, so I'd also say at work, focusing on what levels that you can connect with. So if you're at meetings, if you're at clients and you're like, I don't know what to talk about with these, deodorant executives where I'm doing their PR campaign. They're like 40 years my senior. I don't really know common ground. Focus on the elements that you guys can connect on. Can you connect on the weather? Can you connect on the cool coffee shop across the street? We all have an element of humanity that we can align on, even if we come from such different worlds, different ages, different socioeconomic backgrounds. There is a level of humanity, and the purpose of connection is to meet on that level. There might be many things that we disagree on, but again, creating that element of resonance and honing in on that level. You never know where it is that you can, bond with somebody or connect with somebody on. The Aquarius moon sextiles Chiron, so absolutely can be healing or helpful to connect with community, to reach out to friends. So I am back. Sorry if the camera angle changed slightly. So where were we? So for Thursday's astrology, I also want to let you know that there is this community building essence around feeling good and feeling held by the connections within your world. There is some misunderstanding. Like I said, middle of the week, we're really not seeing eye to eye. Like I said, you're here, I'm here. How do we connect? How do we relate? What's the middle ground? If you're super, down in the dumps and I'm super happy about this art gallery and you want to pull me down to your level and I'm trying to bring you up to my level, what is the in between? And sometimes there just is no in between. Like, we can try to cheerlead and pep talk and be like, come up here, but you can't allow them to pull you down. That's one thing that you cannot allow yourself to do this week. Again, it's not saying you should not be a kind and compassionate soul to somebody who's going through it. That's quite a different situation. I'm talking about somebody who is choosing to just kind of dwell in their misery and wants to pull you in there with them. That's not an option this week. And all I just want to say is that there can just be miscommunications. You can be feeling restless. You want to do your own thing. There feels to be an essence around you want to do your own thing. You're feeling controlled and you could just be a little bit snappy. And with the moon squaring Uranus, it happens midday. So we could be feeling restless. We're very distracted. Double check details, double check follow-ups, because the Aquarius moon squares Uranus. So we're distracted. We're all over the place. Our emotions might feel volatile. And then the moon squares Mercury. So we can be being a little more impulsive, not reading things clearly, having a hard time finding middle ground, having a hard time meeting in the middle of something. So just slow down, double check. Use the Mercury and Taurus pace, one step at a time. Then that evening after the moon squares Mercury, so again, just being mindful as it relates to important conversations. We're not hearing one another. We're not seeing one another. It's hard to connect on the same level. We're just in different places. And I think the advice there is just with the Aquarius moon square Uranus, let people do their own thing. Let people be in their own vibration. You don't need to pull them up. They don't need to pull you down. Maybe you guys just need to stop hanging out for now and just be like, okay, let's just take a second because we're just not seeing eye to eye here. But the moon is void at 9:24 p.m. What I love about the void moons this week is that they're like at the end of the day, which is nice. It was hard last week. We had all these all-day void moons. It just makes it very challenging to do the tasks and to be productive. So on Friday, the moon enters Pisces at 3:14 a.m. and Pisces is the sign that Venus exalts. Friday's Venus day, so we love a Venus-y kind of moon on Venus day. So again, when the moon enters Pisces, we're dreamy, we're idealistic, and we're dreaming about our ambitions. That's really the vibe. We have Mercury in Taurus sextiling Neptune in Pisces, it's really this energy around, I caught a glimpse, I'm going after it. Like I saw the vision and I'm going to make it happen within reality. Again, it won't just land on your door, and you have to romanticize the acquisition. You have to romanticize the hustle or the attunement to your craft. You have to find the pleasure, or at least the joy, within that process of becoming, because it can be joyful. It can be exciting to unlock these new levels of your craft and these new levels of your career, and to still feel anchored to the dream with the Pisces moon, but be willing to commit to the work, the effort that it'll take. Pisces moon sextiles Jupiter, who's in Taurus, which asks for very practical, tangible efforts. And with Mercury in Taurus sextile Neptune, this is like love letter energy. This is writing a song energy. This is writing a sweet text energy. This could also just be daydream energy. Like again, you could be daydreaming about the vision around, oh, wouldn't that be cool if after this art gallery, then it went here, and then what if someone saw it? Like again, we need to dream. Like give yourself that space to dream. The moon's in Pisces. Like again, when you grant yourself the space to dream, you are able to breathe in possibilities where before there were none, right? Thoughts can be energy. And maybe you're not so much relating this week to this energy of someone else being a hater. Maybe it's like you're your own hater. Like every time you dream, you're like, oh, but that's not possible for you. What would it look like if you didn't allow reality to hinder the vision? Like what would it look like? I've been asking that to a couple of people within my personal life lately, and it's been really interesting how when I say like, okay, if money was an object, or if the reality was an object, what would you dream of? And they're like, I don't exist within that world. I exist within reality. So money is an object. The mechanics of the matter is an object. And I'm like, that's true. But I think allowing yourself to dream in this magical world where none of that existed clarifies what is important to you, or clarifies what your personal dreams are. Because again, if we only allow our dreams to take form through the essence around what will be logical and practical, again, we can be limiting our own potential. Now, I'm not saying this is sextile, it's a soft influence. I'm not saying everything we daydream about on Friday will come true, but it'll have valuable clues around what it is that you're feeling inclined to build, around what it is that you want to move towards. How can you pull in elements of the daydream into your existence now? The only reason you got into that gallery showing is because you dared to dream that it would be possible. You could have said, there's no way I'm going to make money off my art. Why even try, right? But just by you dreaming about it, you began to create the foundation. Obviously, it took hard work. You had to paint. By you dreaming about it, you allowed yourself to will it into existence. Because I know a lot of us can be very jaded. I mean, it's just fascinating how much I've had this conversation lately. A lot of people feel very jaded. Like this world has not created them the conditions to dream. And like, I'm a Pisces, so I need to dream like other people need to breathe. That's just so instrumental to my being. And have all of them come true? Will all of them come true? Probably not. Have elements of them come true? Absolutely. Because I've allowed myself to conceptualize a reality outside of my physical existence. I've got out of my own way to be able to breathe out possibilities into the world. So all I'm saying with the Mercury sextile Neptune, allow your day to move through this very kind of ethereal, dreamy sensation. Be sweet to people with Mercury sextile Neptune. This would be great to have a really lovely compliment. This would be a really lovely time to write somebody a letter, leave somebody a little note. Use your words to inspire also. Maybe just like asking someone that you hold dear, what do you dream of? Like if reality wasn't a constraint, what would you dream of? It's fascinating how many people cannot even go there. They're like, but money and reality is a constraint. It is a constraint. I'm like, but what if it wasn't? But what if it wasn't? We cannot allow, like I was talking about last week with sweetness, we can't allow this world take from us the act of dreaming. Okay, that's something that you need to protect and that you need to safeguard within your own world. There's elements of Friday that are very dreamy, but I will say the firm ask is to make it happen. The Pisces moon conjoined Saturn. It can't be a wet blanket essence. It's like, dang, I actually wanted to be at this way bigger art gallery. I'm just at the smaller one, but at least I'm making progress. At least I'm taking steps towards my dream. At least I'm taking steps towards my ambition, and that feels good, to be in the process of becoming, to be in the process of excavating my own potential. And it does make the reward at the top sweeter. It really does. When you've put a lot of time and energy into something, when you work at something and you dedicate yourself to it day in and day out, even if the results don't pan out as you wanted to, no one can take away the discipline, the version of yourself that you had to excavate. No one can take that from you. So Friday is an interesting day to sort of balance the dreaming with the doing, because Pisces is depicted by two fish, one swimming down, one swimming up. Pisces are fish. They exist completely in the water. And the water is meant to symbolize imagination. And this is the choice that every Pisces has, as well as all of us. When we have Pisces energy in the cosmos, the choice we need to make. The choice is this. You could swim to the bottom, where it's all murky. And that is using your imagination to escape from the world, to numb yourself, to live within your dream world rather than making it happen within reality. The other option is to swim to the top, where it's all light and clear. And it's this beautiful balance around being able to visualize something and then work to make it happen within reality. And existing within this realm of imagination, but also knowing that we came here to be human beings, right? And you can pull in elements of your dreams into this experience. Maybe it won't play out exactly as you wanted it to. Maybe you wanted it to be at this huge art gallery. It's at this smaller one. That's still progress. Maybe you were dreaming about having this mansion in the desert. Maybe that's not possible, but it begins to plant the seed around, I wonder if I could live in the desert. And you start to look at houses and you find this cool tiny house community. Like, you just never know. It takes imagination. It takes daring to dream and then being willing to put in the effort in order to make it happen. Do not allow this world to take away your dreams. You need that to survive. And don't allow your dreams to become so alluring, become such a siren's call, that you stop participating within reality. It's a balance, my love. Pulling in elements from your dreams, making them happen, taking our thoughts and turning them into things. So on Saturday the 10th, so the arc of this week, so the beginning was sort of all this tense energy, right? Where it's like, dang, you're here, I'm here. Dang, I was so excited about this, but you just were not meeting my energy. Dang, you're making me second guess this win. And it's so funny because it feels like the energy quickens towards the weekend, where it's just like all of these realizations around, whoa, it's not a me problem, it's a you problem. And that starts with Saturday on the 10th with the Gemini Sun sextile Chiron and Aries, which is just this healing flow of energy around I am the way I am, right? I am the quirky or eccentric or weird or whatever version of myself. And that is part of who it is that I am and what it is that I am here to do. And there's nothing wrong with being a beginner and having beginner's mind, with being fresh on the journey. Like the Gemini Sun, Chiron, Aries, these are two signs that are curious and open-hearted to life. Don't feel like things need to be perfect. Like, you can be at that gallery opening through the lens of learning, like learning gallery etiquette, learning feedback, like being open to the process of becoming, being excited to it. Oftentimes we suffocate our own potential because we feel like it needs to be perfect right away. Embrace the beginner's mindset. Embrace being new at something. Embrace being bad at something. Like, this would be a really lovely time to allow yourself to take that dance class, even if you feel like you're gonna look like an idiot. Just allow yourself to try it. Just allow yourself to be bad at it. Like, no one's expecting you to be an expert right away. Again, embrace beginner's mindset, because when you view things through the beginner's mindset, you're less serious in yourself. You're less like, this gallery or this gallery opening needs to go perfectly or else I'm a failure. You're just like, this is a great opportunity. I'm excited about it. I'm going to learn, and it's a step in the right direction. If anybody reads tarot, like, this is giving me very much the Fool card energy, where you're just excited. You have things to learn. There's a lighthearted, playful spirit, and you're just open. You're just open to the experience. You're open to the vibe, okay? So on Saturday would be a great day to try something new. Embrace feeling dumb. Embrace feeling stupid, whatever. Again, people who make fun of you for looking dumb at the dance class or for being in the gallery opening, like, just literally didn't even have the confidence to do it, because it's hard to put yourself out there. It's hard to get over your fears of looking dumb, but your fears of looking dumb are holding you back, okay? The Gemini Sun sextile Chiron is a reminder of that. And then we have the last quarter moon that day. So this is a check-in point from last week's Sagittarius full moon. I do have the all signs forecast linked below if you want to reminisce on what was coming to the surface for your journey, but expect some emotional reveals. And with the last quarter moon, it really is what it is that we are ready to shed. So maybe you're ready to shed the doubt that's been keeping you from going after what it is that you want. Maybe you're ready to step away from a connection. Like, we can let people go. Sometimes there's literally no way for us to energetically connect. Like, sometimes we're just in two different places, and you can let someone go with gratitude. It doesn't need to be this beef thing. It could just be like, you know, I'm just at a place in my life where I just want to be around people who want me to be happy. And I just feel like because of what it is that you're moving through, you're not able to be that for me. That'll only be a message for a couple of people. Other themes can just be letting go of some emotions that are not serving you, healing, renewing. And then the Pisces, moon, sextiles, Uranus, and Taurus. So seriously, Saturday, do something new. Be playful about it. Be open-hearted. Be spontaneous. Allow yourself to embrace that essence of spontaneity. Go to the dance class. There's a cool bakery. Let's check out the bakery. Let's go for a walk in the park. Like, allow yourself to be a little playful with life, okay? Don't allow this life to take away your play, take away your wonder, take away your dreaming. So Sunday the 11th is when all of the clarity comes in. So like Saturday was like, it started to trickle in. You're like, you know what? Like, it's actually okay that it's a small gallery opening, or you know what? It's okay that not everybody's going to like the art. Like, you're starting to reframe it yourself. Sunday is when you realize, oh wait, it actually is a big deal because you choose to share it with somebody who celebrates it and amplifies it and reflects it right back to you. So a lot happens on the 11th. So come with me on this journey. So firstly, the moon meets up with Neptune overnight. Pay attention to your dreams. Pluto re-enters Capricorn. So this is essentially wrapping up a story that's been playing out for 2008. Now, this is going to echo out more so within society, within the collective. This is government implications. This is big business implications. This is even financial implications. It's a lot bigger than us. What I would hone in on here, some of us can be wrapping up a story that's been playing out maybe within our lives since 2008. And with Pluto and Capricorn, it's really this rebirth as it relates to what success is, for what the structures are. So again, you get to define success for you. Maybe success for you isn't continual growth. Like every time you log onto YouTube, there's all these green arrows, right? Maybe success for you is creating videos that you're proud of. Maybe success for you isn't necessarily getting your artwork to all of the biggest galleries, but it's just being able to sell your artwork and know that it's like living in people's homes. That's like the coolest feeling for you. Again, a lot of what we were sold by capitalism and by the world, like it's just not our own desires. That's why it's important to dream, to attune to what is it that I really dream of? Like, what do I want at the core of it? What have I been told to want that I should want? And what do I actually want? What is the lifestyle that I want? What would success look like to me? Like, those are some of the themes that I would encourage you to kind of play with as it relates to Pluto re-entering Capricorn. And then with Pluto re-entering Capricorn, so at a very, very late degree of Capricorn, it will trine off with Mercury in Taurus, which this is sort of its departing gift as it finally leaves Taurus. It's been in Taurus for a long time because of its retrograde, but this is clarity. This is spotting the energetic. This is spotting the dynamic. If you related to the story that I shared earlier, you don't see it. When you're in it, you don't see it. And maybe you feel this with like a frenemy who's always trying to talk down your successes, maybe someone that you're dating who doesn't really love when exciting things happen for you in career. When you're in it, you think it's a you problem. But once you start to view things and you start to really see the underlying power dynamics, that clarity just hits you like a lightning bolt where it's like, oh, you actually want me miserable. You actually want me miserable. And like I was saying earlier, we don't see the world through that lens until we have to, okay? Until we have to. Because like I said, I did not view people like that. I did not realize people could feed off of your energy until that particular experience. I did not realize that there was people out there who actually like when you are sad or like when you're miserable and actually can feed off of that. That experience initiated me to a whole new understanding of energy and of dynamics, and I'm very grateful for that clarity. And once you start seeing the world like that, you can't unsee it like that. Again, like I was saying, hold on to your joy and your wonder, but you gotta be discerning in this world, okay? Like with Mercury and Taurus trining Pluto, it's like that moment of clarity when you're like hanging out with a friend, they're totally raining on your parade, and you're like, oh, you're not happy for me at all. It's like that clarity where it's like, you actually don't like me. And it's weird because like with Venus and Leo, we want to be around the people who we love, right? And Leo is such a loving energy. And what we misunderstand about Leo, because people think that Leo is very like self-centered and conceited and vain and what have you. While they do crave validation, they pour it on you just as much. They really put their all. They're so generous. They're so loving. And, you know, they're ruled by the sun. The sun can be blinding, right? In our love for people, we can sometimes be blinded within the dynamic. It could be like cognitive dissonance, like, wait, this is somebody that I'm dating, so why would they want me to be miserable? That doesn't make sense. They're dating me, so I must just be crazy. I just need to get skinnier. I just need to be paler. I just need to play by their rules. Or maybe it's like, this is my friend. Why wouldn't they be happy for me when something exciting happened with my art? It doesn't compute. So it almost makes you wrong, where it's like, okay, well then I must be the issue. I'm not pale enough. I'm not skinny enough. My art isn't good enough. what have you. And then when you awaken and you get that clarity around, wait, you see the underlying level, you see the underlying truth around, you just don't like me. Again, it's so obvious looking back, but you know, if you've been in one of those situations, you don't see it at the time. Maybe you've been around it with a friend, with a boss, with a coworker, with a relationship. You just don't see it at the time. And looking back, it's like, oh, you didn't like me. Because again, why are you friends with people you don't like? Like this whole, I don't get it. But again, that experience wizened me to realize not everybody operates through life like I do, and how I'd imagine you all do, because I've met with a lot of you, and you all, like the clients that I've met with, are such like empathic, compassionate, kind, gentle souls, and I just want us all to wisen up to the fact that not everybody's like that, okay? And with this Mercury trine Pluto, once you see it, you can't unsee it. And you get more wary moving forward. You get more wary with who it is that you share your successes with. You get more wary with who it is that you invite into your orbit. You just see things from a different dynamic. Now, to a literal level, with Mercury trining Pluto, this is a great day to like research, deep dive, have deep conversations. That's the vibe on Sunday. Be open to transformation. Maybe you're enrolling into a class that's going to transform you or something of the nature. You're writing, like this is like tunnel vision. Like I said, tunnel vision could be a bad thing. Earlier in the week with Venus opposite Pluto, this is like obsessiveness, this is jealousy, right? With Mercury trine Pluto, it's like getting obsessed in a good way, getting obsessed into a good book, getting obsessed with writing, getting obsessed, deep diving into this deep conversation. So those are some manifestations. And then Mercury enters Gemini, which is this energy around communication. Mercury is now in rulership. So again, expect us all to be a little bit more chatty, expect your phone to be blowing up a little bit more, your Insta DMs even more active and poppin'. Everybody's on social. Like, we just want to connect. Well, Mercury's in Gemini. And the arc, how I see this playing out in reference to the vibe check, is it's almost like that experience kind of shut you down. You're like, okay, it's not that big a deal. And the Sunday astrology is almost when you're like, well, I'm just going to tell a couple more people. And then you tell people and you see, hey, that reaction actually wasn't normal. Like all of these people are excited and they're asking me questions about it. Like with Mercury and Gemini, be open to connect, be open to communicate. And also just with Mercury and Gemini, Venus and Mars in Leo, be open to tell people what's going good in your life, what good news is occurring. I just want to say I am a good news girl, okay? Feel free to tell me any good news. Even if I don't know you, even if we've never worked together, if you have good news, I want to hear it. Like I will sometimes get emails from clients that I like met with once at a fair, like 5 years ago. I actually got one like, I think a week and a half ago. And yeah, he had like a mini, like 10-minute reading at a fair. Didn't even know he still had my contact information. And he basically reached out and was like, yeah, you had said that this year would be big for romance. I just proposed to my fiance. Here we are on our European adventure, and like sent a little selfie, and I was just like so excited. It's so important to attune to all of these things around us that are going well. Keep in mind, there's a lot that's not going well. With Pluto re-entering Capricorn, we're definitely getting the darker underbelly around the shadow side of corporate greed and structures and government. I'm not minimizing any of that. What I will say, there is a lot of good happening in this world. There's a lot of corruption, there's a lot of bad, but there's also a lot of good. Just as I was like, there's energetic vampires you need to be conscious of, there's also a lot of beautiful souls that I feel so grateful to know. And I actually feel just comforted knowing that there's people like that in the world. Like there is good things happening. Every single moment, somebody's falling in love. Every single moment, somebody is hitting a new milestone in their business. Every single moment, somebody is finding their new favorite song. Every single moment, somebody is meeting somebody who will be their best friend. Like there is magic happening all around us if we choose to tune into it. And that's what makes me feel sad for energetic vampires, because I don't think they see it. Like, I don't think they see it. I was having a conversation with someone the other day and we're talking about my neighborhood, and I find my neighborhood so magical. I love it. I walk around all the time. Every time I walk, there's like all this cool artwork. I see all these cool people. There's so much flowers. There's so much nature. It feels like this magical land. I find all these random hiking trails. Like I'm telling you, I'm obsessed with where it is that I live. And I was talking with somebody and they were telling me how dangerous and how bad and how it's all going to crap. And I was like, what? I literally was like, are we talking about the same place? Because that is just so not my experience. Again, I might be Delulu, I might be living in my little Pisces world, but it just shocked me that they couldn't see any of the beauty that I saw. Any of the beauty. I was like, are we talking about the same streets? Are we talking about the same place? Are we talking about the same world? But I didn't allow that to yuck my yum, right? Like I still love my neighborhood. I still see the beauty around it. It's basically the lesson of this week is to allow yourself to celebrate what it is that you love, who it is that you love, the environments that you love, and not allow people who have a dissenting opinion to take that away from you. They're allowed to have their opinion. You're allowed to have yours. With Mercury and Gemini, we can see both sides of something and still have utter clarity around, okay, this is how you see it, this is how I see it, and this is the perspective I'm going to utilize, as well as having clarity around logically what makes sense, because Mercury is now in rulership. So it is behaving with a lot of acuity, with a lot of clarity, right? With Mercury in this sector. And with Mercury and Gemini, it's almost like this aha moment. Me, aha, eureka, I've got it. But it's this aha moment. And it makes me think, someone commented the other day, they're like, Haley's a lot of fan, and absolutely, I am a lot of fan, so sometimes some lyrics come in, but the vibe that I got when I was tuning into this week's astrology was this song Fishtail, this line where it's like, you wanted me sadder. You wanted me sadder. And again, you don't think that people want you sadder. You don't think, like with this Leo energy, you want to hype people up. You want people to feel special and confident because that's how you operate life. There are some people who just want you sadder. You living in your power, you living in your confidence, you living in your intelligence and your most actualized self, that triggers them. Maybe it reflects on where they feel like they've underutilized their talents. Maybe they want to control you. They don't want you to be your most actualized self because they feel like it will make you kind of evolve out of their grip. Again, you don't have to dive too deep into trying to psychoanalyze their mind, although Mercury did trine Pluto, so maybe you'll be wanting to. But with Mercury and Gemini, it's like that moment, it's that song where it's like, you wanted me sadder. Like, you did not like me. Like, for me, with that experience earlier, that dude freaking hated me. But at the time, I did not see that. Like, he was literally trying to fundamentally change who I was as a person. He kind of succeeded in changing who I was as a person. There was never a moment that I felt remotely like myself. I felt so insecure. He got a pleasure off of diminishing me down and down and down. That was pleasure. That's hatred. That dude hated me. But at the time, I thought it was love. I thought it was love. You need that clarity. And just with Mercury and Gemini, it just feels like this moment around, you're not really my friend. Like, you don't want me to be happier. Like, this person I'm dating wants me to be miserable. It's like, you wanted me sadder. But not everybody wants you sadder, which is why it's important to say on Sunday we have Venus and Leo squaring Jupiter and Taurus. This is the part of the vibe check where a friend is like, what? Let's go out shopping. Let's go out to dinner. Let's make it a big deal. It's so exciting to have good news and tell good news to those people. Like I was telling you about my mentor, like I love reaching a new milestone. I'm not really outward about those sort of things. Like, you know, Virgo rising, I just like my actions and my work to do the talking. I have Leo in the 12th house. It's always been something that I've struggled with, but I get so excited to tell her because she's so excited and she's so proud of me and she loves to build me up and make me feel excited. She'll obviously give her professional opinion if she does have questions about the new deal or what have you, but she's so excited and it's so pure to have those connections of people who are just so excited for you, especially when you've had situations and dynamics where you're so excited about something or something was making you happy. Like, you guys know, I get super obsessed with things and sometimes I'll learn about something and I'm so excited. I just want to like brain dump. I'm like, oh my gosh, I learned about this thing and I want to tell you all about it. And to have somebody who just doesn't meet you in that energy just makes you crestfallen, just makes you like so sad. And it's so special to have those people who see you and they celebrate you within that light and they even take opportunities to make those little things a big deal. And you just remember how people treated you and you remember how people celebrated your wins and you remember if they diminished them or if they celebrated them. It's so lovely to have those people who want to celebrate you, who want to make little things a big deal, who want to celebrate life. Like, we don't have to wait for our birthdays. We don't have to wait for half birthdays. Let's celebrate you beating that bad habit. Let's celebrate you finishing that short story. Let's celebrate you hitting 100 podcast downloads. Let's celebrate the little things, okay? Life is too short not to. What I will say is that with Venus and Leo squaring Jupiter, this is definitely pleasurable, okay? We're wanting to get lost into pleasure. We're wanting to shop. We're wanting to eat. We're wanting to kiss and cuddle and pour into love. This is a very, very hedonistic energy. And all I would say is that just being conscious with the budget, okay? Being conscious as this is kind of a more excess energy. Like, your friend could have been like, we got to celebrate your art gallery. We got to go out to dinner and get you an outfit and go out dancing and get you bottle service. Like, it's a very extra energy, which again, we need to be extra sometimes. All I'd say on Sunday, take the opportunity to play and to celebrate. Make a little thing a big deal. Celebrate yourself and let people know what you're excited about, what's lighting you up. The moon enters Aries at 6:20 a.m. and it sextiles Mercury and Gemini. So again, it takes you being able to reach out and be like, hey, I got my artwork in the gallery, or like, hey, this cool thing happened, right? And with the trine to Venus and Leo, allow them to celebrate you. Know that you are worthy of allowing your accolades to be celebrated and to be cherished and to be lifted up. I would also say with the Aries moon sextile Mercury and Gemini, like I said, great time to learn a new skill, learn something new. And with the Aries moon trining Venus and Leo, like I said, this is a day to feel good, to look good, to remember who you are. Like again, the moon is in Aries. When that clarity comes in, you return to your sense of self, and it's almost overwhelming how much of your energy returns. Like, I'll never forget when I had that moment of clarity, like it just reached ahead in this really horrific way that was hell. At the time being. Now I realize it was my angels protecting me. Like literally a lot of times when people's true colors show, like that is your spiritual support team, like looking out for you, I swear, because who knows, I could have gotten so much more ensnared into that dynamic had this major wake-up call not happened. And it was crazy having that clarity. Like again, I was heartbroken, I was lost, but that first walk that you take when you feel the sunshine on your skin and you have like a moment of panic because you're like, I can't get tan, I need to be as pale as possible, but then you realize, wait, I don't have to. Like that moment when you go to eat something delicious because you're hungry and you're like, oh wait, no, because he said I need to look like this or eat this, and you're like, wait, I don't have to. And there's a certain sense of dread because this person isn't in your life, but there's this smallest glimmer of joy and of returning to yourself. And it gets easier every single day. You reclaim more of your joy. You reclaim more of your spark. You reclaim more of who it is that you are every single day. And I just remember feeling my energy returned. I didn't realize how lifeless of a person I had been. My energy returned. My hunger returned. My friendships returned. I didn't realize how much I was depriving those connections. Again, it was like this influx of all of this energy, right? And it was slow, certainly. But with this Aries moon trine Venus in Leo and Venus in Leo squaring Jupiter, all I want to say is if you can relate at all, if there's been a certain dynamic or certain experiences really made you question who it is that you are, know that you are not lost and continue to hold on to those moments of glimmer, those moments of reminding you who it is that you are, those moments of having that hobby that celebrates you, those moments of feeling the sunshine on your skin and just celebrating that particular moment. Like again, attuning to the glimmers, understanding as sort of the spell is wearing off and you return to your own essence that, you know, it wasn't you. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. You're just a human being who deserves to be your own person and to flaunt and to play and to express and to live. So my loves, that is our week. Our Magic Monday mantra of the week is I fiercely protect my joy. You know, Leo is a heart-centered energy, it's a loving energy, but it's fierce. It's a lion, right? And sometimes you'll see lions like cuddling and playing and they're so like, you know, playful and fun, but they will be fierce if need be. And like sometimes you just need to realize that there are certain people who will view you as prey. They will view you as something that they can siphon energy from or leech energy from. And again, not everybody's as sinister as I'm making it sound. Sometimes people just can't relate to you in regards to your successes, but there are some sinister people out there who will view you as prey and will view your joy and your happiness and your lust for life as fuel for them to siphon from you. And again, it takes tapping into your fierceness around, no, I'm going to create a life in which my play is celebrated. I'm going to create a life of people who love to see me confident, who love to see me empowered, who love to see me embodied, who love to see me actualized. Those are the people that you need to be around. And you need to be fierce about protecting your joy, around sharing good news with people who amplify it, around taking excuses to make a big deal of the little milestones. Throw yourself a party, take a trip, do things in this life. We are here to live, okay? And you need to be the defender, the fierce defender of your joy, because if you do not, no one else will. Do not allow people to minimize your hobbies or the things that light you up or the successes that you have, okay? They can have a certain opinion about it, but you cannot allow it to get into your heart space, into your feeling around it. All in all, this is a time to keep your head held high, right? With your mane held back and to stretch yourself like the lion or the lioness that you are, just circumventing behind the predators who could come into your orbit. Be around the fellow lions, the fellow lionesses who want to play with you, who want to experience life with you, who want to play under the sunshine with you, so on and so forth. So my loves, that is our week. My Instagram handle is @HaleyCometAstrology. My TikTok is the same. If you made it to the end of this video, if you could drop a lion emoji below, rawr. I want to thank you all again for staying to the end. I've been talking for quite a while and I just feel so grateful for this community and for Magic Monday, and that you guys let me ramble on all things astrology. So until we meet again, drink lots of water and